of Aaron Hernandez, the ex-fiance um, of Hernandez. If you don't know his story, he used to play for the New England Patriots, and he actually committed suicide, alleged suicide when he was in prison. He was prosecuted for several things that he did by hurting other people, and they end up passing away. And that is one of the reasons why he went to prison. Now, this story is very disappointing, and it's very sad to me. And I wanted to share this on my YouTube channel. Before I get into it, if you can go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Affirmative Talk, it'll be greatly appreciated as my channel continue to grow. Right now, I have over 6,000 subscribers. And if you would like to be a member of my YouTube channel, it would definitely support to be able to pour back into my YouTube channel so that way I can continue to provide good content for all my subscribers. You can hit that join button and you'll actually become a member subscription with my YouTube channel. Right here is called Aaron. The title is Aaron Hernandez, ex-fiance accused of mishandling thousands of dollars of her daughter's trust fund money. And this is from the Shade Room article. And they got some great information concerning this story. And I wanted to kind of elaborate on this story. So, Shanyana Jenkins Hernandez, the ex fiance of Aaron Hernandez, is being accused of mishandling trust fund money set aside for their daughter. Now, according to the Boston Globe, the allegations were made by an attorney overlooking the trust, and that attorney name is David Schwartz. Now, according to that, they found out that her spending habits was $36,000 on clothing, $39,000 on home goods, and $25,000 on shopping online. A court appointed trustee said the former fiance of Aaron Hernandez spent these amounts on herself from a fund that is meant for the couple's daughter. And a battle over who controls the money has been created. Now, let's just stop right there. This is alleged, but this is coming from someone who's an attorney by the name of David Schwartz. I think it is sad if it turns out to be true that she spent $36,000 on clothing, and this attorney has access to look at the account, to look at the withdrawals. And if this trust money is made for the daughter, so that way she can have somewhat of a decent life because her father is gone, right? This will be something that is egregious because, I get it from a mental perspective, from the actual fiance, is that she's probably have gone through a lot of things mentally from a mental health perspective. Her heart has been broken because Aaron Hernandez, her fiance, was probably her everything, right? And I think this is something that we can agree upon. But at the same token, there needs to be some level of culpability here. You have to be able to watch your spending. You have to be careful. $36,000 on clothing. I mean, are we serious here? $36,000 on clothing. What are we buying? This little girl has her whole life ahead of her. And it seems to me it's kind of irresponsible on these spending habits if it tends to be true. $39,000 on home goods. At some point, we have to put the focus on what's more important. Is it your daughter's future or what you need right now? And I'm saying that her daughter's future has to be more secure. And maybe this probably is a good thing. This thing is getting looked at now before all the funds is dwindled away. We have to be adult. We have to be a mature about these situations, especially if it's coming from her daughter's trust fund that this money is needed. Now let's go a little deeper. Now, Jenkins Hernandez alleged misspending. Matters began to unravel in September when Jenkins Hernandez said she couldn't afford her daughter's $10,000, 697 bill for dance lessons. Now, let me say this. Let me say this on this particular perspective. What type of dancing are we doing that costs $10,697? I understand that there are some type of dance lessons, and maybe private dance lessons, things of that nature that calls up to that amount of money and possibly even more. But this is why I think it's important is that you live within your means. What's wrong with actually doing other dance lessons that is less expensive? See, this is what we're talking about when you're talking about financial literacy, talking about handling your money properly and not overspending money that you can't afford. Because at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, are these dance lessons the most important thing that your daughters need right now? Is that a need? No, to me, that is more of a want. There are probably several other things that I can even think on the top of my head that's going to be a needed expenditure instead of spending $10,000 for a dance lesson. Now, Jenkins Hernandez then asked trustee David Swartz to pay the bill with money from AVL's trust fund, but the attorney denied because he's probably thinking from a perspective, I'm not about to do that. No, that's not a need. That's really an activity. And right now, that's not an activity that's within the budget that I feel that is appropriate at this time that you need to spend this type of money for your daughter's dance lessons. As you can see right here, the mother and her daughter. And it just seems like this, right here where she's won several awards, Star Dance, Star Power. And she said, and on Hernandez Instagram, she had posted this picture right here. And she said, such an amazing day full of love and support. You rock, my little rock star. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. We don't know if she was using that money to probably help pay for, other girls, little girls in the Stars Dance group. We don't know, but it could be true. And let me just say this is proof that she's in the Star Dance. And look at, she won some awards, high score champion. And, let it be known that sometimes, when you're putting your child in these activities and they are real good at it, and depending on the level and the competitive nature of the Star Dance, this could prepare her to be a professional dancer in some way, in some shape or form. Now, let me just be, because I like to try to put it on both sides. This probably be something that this little girl is very good at her craft. And her mom does not have a problem in investing in her daughter, hopefully, probably thinking to herself one day that this would pay off, that she's doing something that she loves. But at the same token, the attorney has his own thinking, and probably thinking from a perspective is that's pretty expensive. And I don't think that this is wise right now to spend this type of money from her trust fund when there are other things that's probably going to be more important right now to make sure that her future is somewhat secure. So I understand both sides here, but I think I'm leaning more on the other side is that yes, there has to be some type of limitations on the spending, because if you are spending more money than what you're making and you're not making money coming in, and apparently in this article it looks like that she's not working, if you're not working, you're not creating income, then it's something is that eventually this money is going to dwindle down real fast. Okay, now, according to him, which is the attorney David Swartz, Jenkins Hernandez was already receiving $150,000 a year or more from Hernandez NFL pension. Now, I'm going to tell you this right here. This is one of the reasons why she doesn't have to work. This is one of the reasons why she doesn't even have to work, is because she is getting $150,000 a salary a year or more from Hernandez NFL pension. That says a lot. So if you're making that much money a year, why did you need the attorney to pay for that expense from out her trust fund? See, this where the red flags for me pop up. This is where you have to pay attention and read and listen while you're reading and pay attention to the eyesight. Like, this is not adding up. Where's the money going from the NFL pension money? You could have easily paid that from out of your NFL pension money from your ex-fiance. So where is the money? What are you doing with the funds? And Social Security payments, which were intended to pay for ABL's daily expenses. So not only she's getting Miss Jenkins Hernandez is getting her ex-fiance NFL pension money per year, 150,000 a year. She is also getting Social Security payments, which were intended to pay for ABL's daily expenses. Now, the trustee couldn't fathom why Jenkins Hernandez would need additional money. Then he decided to review her spending records. This is what caused him to have a pause for concern. It's like, let me go into the books and see what in the world is going on. And this is what David Schwartz, the attorney, found out. Is that he uncovered that she was spending $36,858 spent by Jenkins Hernandez on clothing and maternity wear, and additional $39,347 was spent on home goods. Another $25,577 was spent shopping online, and $11,792 was spent in the name of self-care. This included gym fees, visit to hair salons, and nail salons. An attorney representing Schwartz, named Robert O'Regan, shared his thoughts on the mother's alleged misspending. And this is what they said. There is reason to question whether the expenditures were for AVL's benefit. To be fair, this little girl should have a decent life with what her father left for her. No one would complain if there were reasonable expenses, which means expenses that made sense. We're talking about over the top or otherwise unrelated expenses to AVL. So basically, what they're saying is these are not just expenses based off on the daughter. These are expenses that are for her and possibly even somebody else or other people. You can't do things like this and don't expect there's going to be some pushback. Don't expect there's going to be some red flags, because ultimately that trust fund is for your daughter. You're getting your money. There's more than enough to take care of your daughter and yourself. $150,000 a year. Do you know how many people in this on this earth that's not even making $100,000 a year, a six-figure income? And you mean to tell me you can't figure things out to be able to live off that expense that you're getting? You don't even have to work on a job. That's the reason why you're not working. And you're getting Social Security a check for the daily expenses for your daughter. So at some point, let me tell you something. A lot of people, I'm speaking for that half of people that don't care that this situation is happening to you, because they said, man, you have been blessed, more than blessed, will have plenty of money to be able to have a secured life for you and your daughter. Then you have those people that really feel sorry for you and say, man, you know what? This lady has been dealt a hard hand from a mental health perspective. There's probably a lot of things mentally that's going on with her. But let me tell you, let me meet in the middle. I do feel sorry for her for what she had to endure, what her daughter had to endure. She lost a father. You lost a fiance. But at the same token, he did some bad things. And it's not your fault. It's not the daughter's fault. He took the responsibility and took the accountability for his action. He was guilty in those situations and he paid the price, the ultimate price, which his life. Now, with that being said, moving forward, you have all the responsibility and the accountability to make sure that your daughter is taken care of, not just financially, but also mentally, also physically. And you have to make sure that you're doing the right thing that's going to be in the best interest of your daughter and yourself. Now, with that being said, David Schwartz, the attorney, and the mother are now battling to determine who controls the money that remained after the death of Hernandez. Now, previously reported, Hernandez was found hanging from his prison in 2017, and where he deleted himself. The disgraced New England Patriots player was serving time in prison for 2013 for hurting Odin Lloyd at that time. Now, he was recently acquitted in a separate murder case. Now, with that being said, here is Aaron Hernandez and the fiance, the mother of AVL. Now, let's go into it. When David Schwartz declined to pay for AVL's dance lesson bill with the trust fund money, Jenkins Hernandez, which is the mother, asked a Bristol County probate judge to remove him as trustee. She argued that he was potentially forcing the child to give up her favorite extracurricular activity. Jenkins Hernandez maintains that she hasn't improperly spent money and it should be available to her when she needs it, the mother shared in an exclusive statement. Now, this is her statement. Since Aaron's death, my soul's focus has been on raising and providing as stable a life for my children as possible. All monarchs I have been with the singular focus in mind. And this will continue to be my focus going forward. Now, the attorney stood his ground. He maintains that Jenkins Hernandez has acted wrongly and asks that she be removed as AVL's conservator. Now, with that being said, a new conservator will receive both Hernandez pension and Social Security checks. That person would then have control over how that money will be spent. Now, let me stop right there. Let me stop right there. I disagree in what this attorney is trying to do. I disagree with it on all corners. At the end of the day, she deserves the right to that money. She was the fiance of Aaron Hernandez. She had a child by Aaron Hernandez. And let me say this. I think it's egregious if the courts try to side with this attorney to take away the pension that she gets every year and also the Social Security checks. At the end of the day, she is the mother. Unless you feel that this child's life is in danger where she is physically hurting this child, which she is not, you have no rights in trying to take away her money that's supposed to be her money and her daughter's money. Now you're crossing the line. Now I'm looking at you with a side eye because you can't tell me with a straight face that you deserve to try to make this motion in the court of law to take away this mother's money. There's no way. There's no way. And you should be ashamed of yourself to try to put this in motion to take away her pension that she deserves to get every year and the Social Security payments for her daughter's daily expenses. This is what she earned. This is what is entitled to her. Because if it wasn't, the courts would have never agreed with it. Period. Now, according to the outlet, Jenkins Hernandez does not presently have a job. You don't need to work when you're making that type of money, but has managed to acquire expenses such as a $4,800 in charges at Harrods department department store, ATM withdrawals in the amount of $29,650, and bank charges in the amount of $13,778. Schwartz was particularly concerned that Jenkins Hernandez reported spending $39,655 on education. The amount included $3,720 for Bay Path University, which is a private university in Western Massachusetts. However, AVL is not in college. So this is where it gets interesting for me. If AVL is not in college, why in the world did you feel the need? Are you in college? Are you in college? I have no problem if you are in college, if you're trying to work on something that's going to better yourself. I have no issue with that. None. Now, according to the attorney, Jenkins Hernandez also spent $12,830 on an expense label Ask My Accountant. Neither Jenkins Hernandez nor her lawyer will further explain what the expense particular entailed. Now, let me just say this, man. There is something that's going on that feels very odd to me in this story. I'm not sure if she's taking this money out and spending to and paying this money to someone else. Because what I do know is that Aaron Hernandez, her fiance, was involved with some bad people. He was a terrible person as far as the things that he did with other people. He was already reported of being a hothead. He was already reported for being a guy that was not to be played with because he has such a temper that he will actually go 0 to 100 real quick and bad things will happen. It really gives me pause to concern, like, there is something deeper to the story, and especially when you have certain expenses and you are saying to yourself and you label it as ask my accountant and you don't want to engage in what that expense is. There is more to the story than we don't know. And I pray for her and her daughter, because what I don't want to happen is anything bad to happen to either one of them. And I hope they get down to the bottom of it. And I hope she's able to gather herself and understand the ramifications of her actions and what she's doing. Understand that they are trying to take your money. Understand they are trying to take that pension of yours. They are trying to take that social security payment for your daughter. Don't put you and your daughter in a bad situation where you really be put in the spot of struggling when you are blessed to be in the position that you are in. Understand every move that you making thus far. Think about your daughter. Think about the consequences, the negative consequences that can come from you making expenses, making withdrawals like this. You're on their radar, and it will behoove you. I hope you have someone that's in your corner. I hope you have someone that supports you, but I hope you have someone who's going to keep it real with you and understand they are not playing. Now, the attorney, Schwartz attorney, argues that Jenkins should be removed as a conservative over the trust funds for her daughter, and AVL is eligible to receive the funds when she turns 25 years old. The trust currently sits at $700,000. Now, this is a quote from the attorney. I believe that Jenkins Hernandez has been commingling the child's funds with her own. I believe that Ms. Jenkins Hernandez's ongoing conflict, her almost 5-year long record of excessive expenditures, continuous violation of this court's decree, and her failure to file an inventory and up-to-date accounts all indicate that despite what might be her best intentions, Ms. Jenkins Hernandez is not effectively performing her duties as a conservator. I'm going to just keep it real. I'm going to keep it real with you. I don't like it. Ultimately, she has to put herself as the determining factor on why this is happening. But I would say this, first and foremost, is that I want her to not lose that money. Whether this is true or not, and let's say for the simple aspect, this turns out to be true. She messed up. But I would like to know, is there an underlying situation that's going on where she's being forced to pay money to someone? That's what I need to know in this situation. I will also like to give her an opportunity to change her ways, because at the end of the day, like I said earlier in the part of this video, she earned that money. She earned that money. And whether you like it or not, that money is entitled to her. Because it's going to be very interesting to see if this power attorney, because let me tell you something about sometimes a lot of these attorneys, they have an agenda and a hidden agenda. And this hidden agenda could be made and moved towards somebody else. And what I would like to know, who he feels should be the conservator. Who does he want to have access to the pension money of Aaron Hernandez of $150,000 or more a year? Who do he want those Social Security payments for AVL to go to? Do you already have somebody in your pocket? Do you already have somebody in mind who you want to be able to have access to money so that way they can deal with that money in way they see fit? Do you really have the best interest of that daughter, ABL? Do you really have the best interest? All I'm saying is I need more to the story. But what I don't want to happen and what I don't feel that should be involved is that she should be stopped from being the conservator from Aaron Hernandez pension money and from ABL's trust fund and from the Social Security payments. That's my piece and take on it. But I want her to change her ways. I've said this already. I'm not going to go back and elaborate on that. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support this channel, and your support means the world to me, go ahead and comment, like on this actual video content. Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Affirmative Talk, and do me a huge favor. Go ahead, if you would like to become a member and join for only $4.99. And remember, all the proceeds will go back into my channel. I have over 6,000 subscribers. It'll be greatly appreciated for all my subscribers to go ahead and become a member and subscribe if you like my content, if you like my point of view and where I'm coming from on these different topics that I bring to you on a daily basis. Take care, and as always, always be blessed.
Hey, experience can't be bought. This the energy you want. Yeah, this affirmative talk. Hey, destined for greatness, that's for certain. Time to build your life with purpose. Build your self-esteem and courage. Right now, it's a lifestyle, that's for sure. Good vibes and meditation from a real life coach. Let them know. Affirmations help to make a better you. Got you feeling incredible. Affirmative